In reference to Massachusetts general laws, I know how confusing, like if you try to read Mass General Laws, Chapter 114, which pertains to cemetery, and then there's a couple others, and you've spoken about this before, Ronnie, about funeral processions, that about making sure that nobody else comes in and having a little bit of control over that. What was it, 2 weeks ago, Bud and Lisa, we had 3 funerals one morning. They were kind of like bang, bang, bang.
Right, there was a lot of cars.
Yeah,
lot of
because
cars and
with
then-
COVID, it's supposed to be limited too, so.
Yeah, it was very limited numbers, but it was
Yeah,
just,
and they were spread out pretty good with most of them had masks on. But there's a way we could still do it and comply with what the state says by, so one of us, instead of being in the office when they all come in, somebody could be at the gate, letting them all through, and then you don't have to close the gate, but we can get those tall cones, the tall skinny cones like they have over at the COA to show where the elderly, go around, and we
Yep.
can put those across where the gate, instead of closing the gate, just put those across, and that way no one comes in. And we could even have a temporary sign made up that just says funeral in process. That's all,
Yeah, I did hear some of Baker's stuff, and I think by the end of May, it's supposed to be 250 people outside.
really, with masks.
Wasn't sure on that point, but
Yeah.
200 people inside, 250 people outside. So
Okay.
slow, steady progress, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a small wedding. A lot of people last year didn't get to get married.
Yeah.
200.
or got married with nobody there.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
But, the last thing on the reference to Massachusetts general law, we'll be looking at those things pretty closely, because I know a lot of people get really confused on that, and it's not the easiest thing to read, Massachusetts general laws, chapter 114, because I've looked at this stuff so many times over the last several years. And for example, it used to say that if the family hadn't been around for 75 years, the cemetery could take, say, for example, if a monument was hazardous, then the cemetery could maintain the monument, and there's stuff about that they can do stuff with the lot. But now they removed that 75-year requirement, that there's no time limit on that. But the important thing is, if there's a safety hazard with a monument, it needs to be repaired before somebody gets hurt. So if the family's not around, then the cemetery could be held liable for that. We're lucky because we don't have any of those situations in the new cemetery that I'm aware of. Are you, Bud, of any hazardous?
No, because we've taken the time to limit the height of the headstones. So there are a few in there that are taller than they should be, but when you try to dig a grave, something that exceeds the height limits, the foundation gets loose, so that becomes a hazard. But since we limited the size tall-wise from ground up, it's okay. It's pretty good. Does that make sense?
Yes. And we did have a one that was a safety hazard in the old cemetery last year, the Spring Monument, which was on the northwest edge, but that was resolved. That was leveled, plumbed, and resolved, so that because that one was really bad. That, for example, we had a lot of that rain 2 weeks ago. If you would have stood on the lower edge of the monument, might be just enough for that thing to have fallen down and killed somebody. So that was a priority for us to mitigate that situation, which we did. I just wanted to just do a summary on the new business before we proceed onto the old business. You know, we spoke about the monument issue, particularly about the one about the woman. I thought that cemetery workers did something to knock that tablet off center, and that was a huge tablet. I mean, we couldn't even take all the equipment within the cemetery and be able to move it. And there wasn't a single mark on that monument, and you know, we don't have anything that would have been able to lift the tablet if we really tried to repair it, but that's not our issue. And we spoke a little bit about the reference to Massachusetts general laws, and the particular one that's important is Massachusetts general laws. I dug 114, which cemetery management, and then another important one is Massachusetts general laws, chapter 115, which is about care of veterans' graves, which one thing I can say is that Bud and Lisa and those that work with you, like on those flat markers, you guys have done a real good job, and those things are pretty clean, and perhaps a benchmark for other cemeteries to follow, because you guys do such a great job.
Thank you.
Any movement on the flags, Lisa?
So I called 3 different flag companies, and they're all saying that they were all shut down during COVID this past year, and that the flags are going to be really hard to get a hold of. We can place an order, but they can't guarantee that we'll get it before Memorial Day.
Well, usually the VFW or the Legion put the flags on the cemetery.
Yeah, but they don't buy them. They don't bring them.
Yeah, they brought them with them. Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, because
No,
I
they-
used to
Last
get.
year, Carl had to order 476 flags he had to borrow them from Agawam to be able to put them on our cemetery military graves, and then he had to buy or place an order, and then when those flags came in, they gave them back to Agawam.
Because
So
I
we
know
might have to try to
John
do that
Andrews used to
again.
John Andrews used to give me the flags from the VFW for my father.
Yeah, I already talked to Troy Hankey, and they're not getting flags. They'll put them up. They said, just give us a call when you get the flags and they'll put them up. They have a group of people that'll go put them up, but
Yeah, what
It is
happens,
what it
Ronnie,
is.
is that Massachusetts general laws, chapter 115, the state reimburses
right,
the city and town 75% of the cost of the flag. So all we have to do is when we purchase them is provide the receipt to the Veteran Services Officer in
Right.
Agawam, and then he updates in the state computer system for the 75% reimbursement that would come back to the town of Southwick.
right.
Because what Troy had done previously, he got somebody, a business, to donate the flags, and you get these like 9x12 flags that were about
Small.
2/3 the size of the cemetery regulation flags. That was 2 years ago. So
Right.
last year we made sure that did not happen.
Yeah, we don't want the small ones because most of them go into that, what do you call it? The metal thing that you have there for the
The markers.
veterans. The markers, yeah, the grave markers. And that has to be the stick has to be a certain diameter.
Yeah, they have to be 12x18s, and there's 2 different widths of the stick. The VFW markers have a narrower shaft than
Right.
the rest of them.
So hopefully somebody will call me back tomorrow. If not, I'll call them again in the afternoon or by noontime, and then see what they have to say about the flags. Now that they're all starting to work again, I don't know if they'll be able to get out that many flags before Memorial.
Well, I know that the American Legion headquarters blasted out an email about ordering flags for Memorial Day today. So I think that if we try to go to American Legion flag and emblem sales, we should be able to get them from them.
All right, so I'll call them because they were the ones that were getting back to me. So I'll give them a call back on tomorrow. Or,
And of course, I know some people that are into the marketing stuff with the American Legion National. So if we have to, I can use some of my contacts to try to make sure that we get the flags.
I just think maybe we should, now that we know that this could happen, that maybe we start ordering them maybe in the fall, or
January.
the spring, yeah, or something a little sooner than now. Okay.
And moving on about the, I'd like to speak about the cemetery improvements. And there's been a lot of activity going on. But did you have any luck today with the fence company? Did you speak to them about the gate?
He said he was gonna put it in this weekend.
Good.
Yeah, I talked with him, right after I talked to you, and, he said they had planned to come over, either Friday or Saturday and put the gate in.
So when you were emptying the trash receptacles in the cemetery, what did you find in the southeastern edge in those barrels down there?
Oh, at least 3 12-packs of cans and bottles
Of
of
what?
beer. Of beer, and there was some of the little nips in there too. So they've been partying at night again because they know the gate's open. Whoever they are.
Right. And of
Well,
Are
course,
they
you get the
coming
gate-
in? But are they coming in so you can see it on the cameras?
Well, it's dark, so I
Yeah, but
would
the
assume
cameras
so.
still run at dark. When
Yeah,
we sat
but
there and
they
looked for that
don't
lady,
pick up-
all we had to do was watch them on the cameras.
Yeah, but that's mostly daylight when she was in there.
Yeah, but I mean, it still showed stuff at night.
Well, we could look.
can do
Or we
that
could
tomorrow.
notify the police.
But I'll be there tomorrow morning if you want to look at the cameras then.
You bring
Yeah,
that screen
you have
with
to bring
you.
a monitor. There's no monitor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
up in the office, right?
Right.
It should
Okay.
be, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so I'll stop and get that first.
And of course, in a perfect world, we'd have internet connectivity. So then you can monitor it or review it from.
Yeah, it wasn't set up with that, Gene, so.
But can you still,
Because there's no internet down there, so the cameras weren't set up for internet at all.
Yeah. Well,
does that mean we can't do it from our phone?
No, you gotta do it on the device that's in the room, in the building.
Okay.
No, there's no internet, there's no data connection, there's no,
Well, there's
yeah,
no,
there's no telephone, no nothing.
right.
what Lisa was alluding to is that if you set up her smartphone as a hotspot and then have internet connectivity.
There's no internet on the cameras, Gene, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm not talking about the cameras. I'm talking about the box.
No, there's no internet on the box either.
Either.
There's no network cable, nothing in the box.
Okay, that eliminates that.
And
Well,
then if,
it happened, we should be able to track it down real fast because it just happened, a couple of days ago. There was, Karen Reed told me that there was a car in the cemetery and she could only see the taillights. So that means they were in there partying, pretty much.
Well, if the gate gets put in this weekend, then that should eliminate that
to
problem.
solve that problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no sense in arguing anymore because it's gonna be all over.
yeah.
The important thing is that they didn't do any damage. There was no, they just went for a quiet spot and were doing
Whatever.
whatever they were doing.
Yeah,
Lisa,
Yeah, I
was there
didn't
anything
notice
about on the markers. I know that there was, I won't ever get back to you about the price of steel.
No, because, well, she did email me 2 days ago and said that they are still waiting for the steel company. to say-
Can't hear you, Lisa.
They're waiting for the steel company to get a price on the steel. Because the markers that we were gonna get for the new section, and Gene was gonna use some over at the old cemetery. they're made out of steel, and the price of steel went up. So right when we went to order it, the price of steel went up. So she didn't put the order in because the price had changed from when we did our purchase order.
And they
So
don't know what the price, their
No.
adjusted price is gonna be
they
yet.
haven't gotten the price from the steel people yet. That's
Yeah.
what they're waiting on.
Yeah, the markers themselves will be stainless steel, so they won't rust or corrode, and so they can identify the section and row so that easily find graves in there, particularly on the development of the new section. And then we're going to carry that on into the older sections to identify and be able to find graves. And just over the last few days, get the new benches in. And you want to speak about the benches, Lisa, since you were put all that together and get them deployed in the cemetery?
So we ordered 2 new benches for the military veteran memorial to replace, we had 4 benches that were, the wood was, painted a million times and people were getting slivers and complaining about it. So we took out 4, highway came and took out 4 benches, and then we ordered 2 new ones for the military one. And if you haven't seen them, they're engraved in honor of the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, all 5 of the different, there's 2 benches that split up, some on one and another one has a few other ones. And then there's 4 other benches that are in the cemetery.
You missed the Air Force.
Yeah, I didn't say them all. Air Force, U.S. Air Force.
Yeah. We gotta say Air
And
Force.
Marine Corps,
And the Marine Corps.
And, yeah, Marine Corps.
So
Coast
there's 5
Guard.
of them. It says that. So
US
that
Navy.
area looks nice. The only thing I have to do before Memorial Day is
Can't
power
hear you.
wash the cement, and then that area will be all set for Memorial Day. But the benches, so then the Firemen's Association saw that we were doing benches. They actually bought one. and-
Can't hear you, Lisa.
I don't know why you can't hear me. I'm not
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah, no, it's, you get very soft.
Oh, really?
Maybe
I feel
you're-
like I'm yelling.
Yeah, maybe you're too far away from the microphone on your device.
So anyways, the Firemen's Association found out that we were doing the benches and they donated one in honor of all the firefighters and EMTs. So that one will go down in 7, down near Tim Bridges. His grave is over there. So they want that one to go in 7. So it'll be nice. I mean, we'll probably try and do some type of something with the newspaper or something, just saying that we got them and, that one was donated, and show the ones in the memorial and stuff. The other 4 benches are just plain, but the ones that people want to donate to, they can have engraved if they want. That's about it.
And then there's also another initiative that Lisa was working, and that was to get signage to identify the sections within the cemetery. You have the signs, right, Lisa?
Yep, the signs are already made. We already have them at the shop. We just have to get the green post to put them on there. And then that's pretty much done. We just got to put them in. Bud and I can do that in a day.
Good. And I think that covers it for new business. Was there any other new business that I omitted?
I don't think so.
Old business. We met with surveyors, Ronnie, on this past Friday morning, because we did a PO to have some more survey work done so that we could have a complete map of the cemetery, and then most importantly, to have geographical information system stuff, have the CAD file, shape file, and done to the Massachusetts Plains standard, so that the graves will be within 5 inches at maximum to where they actually are in association to the satellite. So then that will pave the way for the future for having the online mapping and the burial search. We're not going to do the Pontum upgrades for their mapping, which would have been like $7,000. Instead, we're going to subscription based with ESRI, which that's used by all the DOD, the federal government, the Massachusetts, what we use in Southwick, and it's all standard applications that everybody's using. So then once we have that data file, then we'll be able to associate to each and every lot the graves, whether they're sold, available, who's occupying them and all that, and then be able to develop a web interface, then have it get linked off the town webpage. So hopefully, well, that's the direction we're working towards.
Hopefully that gets done. Been trying to do it for a couple of years now, so.
Well, the most
Getting
important
there.
piece, is having the surveyor do their thing, and so they know what we expect, and they're going to start working on it pretty soon.
Yeah, they started that just before COVID or right around COVID or whatever, so.
Right. They said they had just a little bit of work to do in the cemetery. And then they actually, the rest of it would be done in the office.
Yeah, because it was, our main thing was, of course, getting 7 laid out because we were running out of plots, so.
Right.
8.
8, whatever.
Eight.
7, 8,
Actually-
6, 12, you know.
Actually, we have our first burial, Bud, Thursday in 8 in the new section.
Okay,
So
all right,
we'll have that tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah, and then also too, when they were there on Friday, I asked them just to give us a ballpark what it would cost to survey the old cemetery, because if it's cost effective, it might be something that worth doing out of the CPC funds. But in the meantime, I developed an application, just a field app using Survey 123, which I can go right up to the headstone and hit a checkbox that identify any condition, and then take a photo, and I can pre-populate it so that I can select a name, and then updates the database in the cloud real time. So it's going to be nice it's going to be a lot of work, but when it's all said and done, they'll be there, and they'll be beautiful. We spoke at length, I think, on the rules and regulations.
Yep.
And there's a minor update. Sue's not here. I was going to have her speak a little bit to Pontum. I know that we still have quite a bit of work to do in Pontum. I've been running reports, and I've been looking at what's unpopulated, and so that's going to go into overdrive here probably within the next couple of weeks, so that we can have that completed about what we promised the town voters from the annual meeting and what was going to happen. More to follow on that. The old cemetery, I was a little disappointed a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually last week. Well, actually it was the 19th of April. Lisa and I were there, and we flagged the Revolutionary War veterans in the old cemetery on Patriots Day. And we found 3 headstones that had fallen down from that rainstorm a couple of weeks ago, including 2 Revolutionary War veterans. And one of them was a gravestone that was abutting a tree. So the growth of the tree and the roots knocked the tablet out of its base. So I think that tree is going to have to come down. But in the meantime, there's no sense of repairing that tablet, that headstone now, because it'll be in the way of the tree men when they come take the tree down. So to preclude any accidents, I think we may move that into the receiving vault to protect that tablet. And then after the tree's down, we'll repair the base and put the tablet where it needs to be.
Is there money still left in the stuff for tree removal, Gene?
No, we expended that, but I think that we put in another. We had in the budget, but I think out of the CPC, if we have to, we'll just like they did a couple of years ago, Ronnie. When you remember that very well, that's improvement to the old cemetery, and if we have to, we'll divvy into that because there's a couple of trees that, well, there's a lot of trees that really need to come down, but there's a couple right now that really should come down, including the one I was just speaking about. And then there's a couple of others that are along the edge that are dead and falling down, starting to lean into the cemetery. And so that's an ongoing, and those Norwegian maples are such a mess. Those limbs have been falling down, and then from those windstorms, there's a whole bunch of limbs that came down in the up front in the old cemetery. So we were fortunate; it didn't do any damage from the fallen limbs. It'll just be a matter of time if we have any more of that kind of heavy rain and wind.
Is there more CPC money coming for the third year of the project,
We
Gene?
didn't request any CPC money for fiscal year 2022.
Because I know it was a 3-year project and we were only on year 2 of it, the last I knew, so.
Yeah, well, what we were looking at doing with phase 3, Ronnie, was those sandstones up front that are completely, the faces are gone. You can't read any. However, like those 3 Calvin girls that drowned in South Pond, and a 4th girl drowned, I think it was 1808. There's the 3 sisters. They share a headstone, and it has it's completely off, but I think we have the inscription for that. And I spoke to Lee Hamburg about this, as well as I spoke with Chuck Blood at Smith Monument. So what Chuck advises, it's not an historical significant monument. We can get a granite in the same color that would last for a lot longer than the sandstone or marble. So there's no sense to reproduce that monument or repair it because it won't last. So I measured got the dimensions and just need to find what was actually inscribed on that stone, and we'll probably order a replacement granite stone for that sandstone instead of trying to repair it. That's what the big expense is going to be. It's going to be on those sandstones, and we have a lot of research to do, and that's particularly the reason why I didn't put anything together for phase 3 of the project, Ronnie, because it was taking a lot of work to find what was inscribed on those stones and figure out which one was what in the first place. But there's several Revolutionary War veteran stones that are on the verge of falling apart. Today, the vendor delivered the consolidator, which is used to hold the stone together, which is it's a very expensive, and you have to wear protective equipment and all that. So some of these marbles that are sugaring and starting to fall apart, we're going to start providing the consolidation treatment on that in the near future. So what it does, it keeps the characteristics of the stone as far as permitting water in and out, but it keeps the stone from falling apart, and that it's not a sealer. So it's what Association of Gravestone Studies, all the National Park Service, National Center, NCCPT advises to use, and any conservator would tell you is the product to use. It's very expensive. It's over $900 for a 5-gallon pail. So like some of these large sandstones up in the front, like on the Gillette, there's 3 of them that need to be taken care of in the old cemetery, which we're going to contract for a conservator to repair because one of them is leaning pretty bad, and it's that far beyond the scope, the capability that we could expect a volunteer to do. And they have some severe cracks on them. So that's the particular one of the products that would use is the consolidator to keep the thing together. But on the little stones, we're going to do a lot of that stuff self-help. We have the personal protective equipment on order, and we'll have that soon. You have to apply 6 treatments of this consolidation product, and you have to do it more than 3 days out from any rain. So it's a very precise procedure. So we're going to get smart on that.
Sounds like you got it handled, Gene.
Yeah, it's and Peter Courier left us, the newspaper reporter. And that's pretty much how
Looks like Doug left too.
Yeah, we have Heidi with us, and I want to thank Heidi for a couple things. One is that her interest to become a cemetery commissioner, and she'll do a good job. I'm sure of that, and I look forward to her working with us. And also, she's done a lot of good work in the old cemetery, and she's also helped me at Pine Hill Cemetery as well, which in fact she has many relatives in Pine Hill Cemetery as well. And quite frankly, I have so much confidence in Heidi now that she could pretty well work independently and do a lot of things without me being there. But one thing that we want to make sure of is that all of us are safe. So I don't want anyone working alone. So from here on out, work in pairs.
It's funner that way anyways.
Yeah, you get a lot more done.
Yes, many hands make fast work.
There you go. It looks gorgeous over there.
Yeah, we're
We've
doing
gotten
good.
a lot of compliments on the old cemetery.
Yeah, it's
The
looking good.
one thing I noticed on the old cemetery, and I know we were supposed to order that like a couple years ago, was the solar light at the top of the flag so that the flag is lit at night.
Okay, there's
That's the
not one there?
one. There's not one there, right, Bud?
Okay.
It never got done, right?
No, there's none there, and I didn't get it ordered.
Okay,
So we
We'll
need
work
a
on
solar light that will light that flag up at night.
okay,
Because technically it's not supposed to be up at night
Right.
without the light.
right. Okay.
There's a new cemetery. I don't think that has a solar light either, does it?
I
It
don't
has
know.
a light on the house from the shed.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
There's a big
pointing at it?
spotlight.
Okay,
Yes.
All right. We'll get that done this week, Ronnie.
we'll put a PO in tomorrow.
Yep. they love
Okay.
RPOs.
Yeah, it kind of has to be solar light because there's no electricity over there. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's about $125 or so.
yeah, that's what I think we had. It just kept getting put to the side.
Okay.
You all can pass my name around so I can get voted onto the committee. That'd be fantastic. I would really appreciate it.
Well, I didn't hear you, Heidi. What was that?
I
To
said if
pass
you
my
all could
name.
pass my name around
Oh,
town
sure.
for voting day,
Right, right.
get my name on
Yes.
the commission.
Yeah, so Heidi, why don't you spell your name and your street address for everybody knows?
Do we need the street address when we put her name?
When you
Need my
do the
street
right
address?
end.
Well, I live at 266 Hillside. And my name is spelled right in front of me on my,
Right, John Stone.
an E at the
Okay.
end of it.
Are we allowed, you know what, are we allowed to put a sign out?
I can't hear you, Lisa.
Are we allowed to put a sign out with her name on it? Or no?
Yeah, because Chelsea Berry, I think, is a write-in too, because she didn't have the signatures.
But she has a sign, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's what I mean. She would have done those signs by herself, but I don't think, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't
I
been
can-
paying any attention to it. but-
Heidi, I can find out from the treasurer's office tomorrow. I'll ask Michelle Hill. And
Okay.
if you can, and if she says you can have signs, you might want to go to Southwoods and just have like maybe 4 or 6 of them and put them in like certain corners, like at the end of Feeding Hills Road, where people stop at that intersection there. Because everybody puts signs there.
Okay,
And just put your name running for a right, you can even put a write-in.
Yeah,
for
if you put
cemetery.
write-in, it might be better to put because I don't think Chelsea has
Yeah.
write-in in hers.
Right.
is
But,
Chelsea running, what is Chelsea running for?
Chelsea School
School
Committee.
committee.
She's
Yeah.
a reelect, but for some reason there was something with getting signatures. You have to get so many signatures to be on the ballot. And I
Right.
don't think, I heard that she didn't get enough or something like that, or they weren't legitimate signatures or something. So I
Okay.
don't know exactly what it was, but I heard that she was a write-in.
And how
Okay.
many votes would I need to actually get on to the committee?
How many
One.
votes did Jim Fahey get? Was it
Depends how
6,
many
right?
people are running.
It depends on how many people put Mickey Mouse against you.
Okay,
Well, it
All
depends.
right.
It
So-
depends on
Yeah,
who
there's
else. If
nobody on the
it-
ballot, Ronnie.
Right.
there's nobody on the ballot.
No.
Okay, I
No.
thought Lisa was running. So
No, because I can't do that and work in the cemetery at the same time.
okay, because I thought I signed. I know I signed Lisa's papers. That's why I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because I know I signed Lisa's papers. So
No, I had to withdraw.
okay, but no,
because-
if you're gonna do
Yeah.
that, if there's nobody else on the ballot, you just have to get more than Mickey Mouse or
And they just
Donald
have to
Duck
write your
or-
name correctly. I know
Yes.
that that's a must,
Mhm.
so.
well,
that's
I
what
know between myself, my husband, my daughter, and you guys, that's
I think we're
probably
good.
a dozen.
Well,
Yeah.
I spoke with Bob Horchek earlier today, and so
he'll send out an email probably to
Right, yeah, he's gonna
the
have all
Republican
that.
Party if you're
Yeah,
running
that'll go out.
Republican.
Yeah, I know Carl, personally, our kids went to high school together.
Yeah, but Carl doesn't have anything, it's a Republican or the Democrat committees that do that stuff. Carl's just the the town
But he'll
manager,
vote
so-
for you.
Yeah, he'll
but
vote for you, but yeah,
Yeah.
but he can't do, signs or anything like that. But no, if you can get a
No,
few
no.
signs up, I would
Absolutely.
put write in on the sign so people
Yeah.
know you have to write in.
Well,
And Jean, I don't know if this is true, but can she hand out? I'll have to check with that too. See if she can do pre-printed things where that
I'll
she can
ask.
have them put them on the ballot. Because
Yeah,
you might
I'll
be able to
ask.
do pre-printed labels.
well,
Yeah.
Bob is gonna speak to Michelle Hill
Yeah,
tomorrow. I
Yeah,
don't know
because
if-
find out if you can do that, because I've heard before where they did pre-printed, and if you handed them out, people could put them on the ballot.
really.
So that way the it's not
That's
spelt
interesting.
wrong or something like that, or
Yeah, but
Oh,
I-
right, right.
you have to give that to them in advance because you can't do it at the polling place.
no, you can't do it at the polling place, but you'd have to, hand them out to friends and people or whatever to get
Right.
them
Okay.
handed out.
Okay,
I don't know if it has to be handwritten or if it can be that, but I've heard different things, so.
Yeah.
But I'll
and
be at the
Heidi was-
polls anyway, so.
Well, also Heidi, you had an idea or a suggestion that you were, or thought you were gonna do about putting on
Yeah.
social media.
Facebook, Southwick Facebook page.
Nice.
Yeah, do the community forums and stuff
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do too.
Yeah,
And make sure you put right in, that the name has to be spelt correctly. Put that in the little blurb you do.
Okay,
I'm sure it'll work out fine.
yeah. I don't even think you have to worry about signs.
okay.
Yeah.
Jim Fahey had 6 votes, I think. And he still blames me, Ronnie, that I had something to do with it.
I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't even know about it, so.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
All right. Do you mind if I sign off? I've got 2 other Zoom meetings to be on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
in fact, I
Oh,
think
also-
we're about ready to
Yeah,
close
because
it
we
up.
you can't vote, so.
No, you can't. But,
Yep.
Okay,
the main thing, Heidi, is that we wanted to introduce you to the full cast. So they
Well,
know.
unfortunately, Norm couldn't make it, but
Right.
Yeah,
all right. Well, thank you for having me. And hopefully,
nice
again,
meeting you, Heidi.
thank you, you also. Have a good night.
Good
everyone.
luck.
You too.
good luck. Thanks, Heidi.
Bye-bye.
All right, I make a motion, the meeting, are we all set, Gene?
Well, I just wanted to say one thing is that I didn't start the recording right away because, we were waiting. So that's why I recapped the summary.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so.
It's all right. I got the meeting minutes. I'll get them done tomorrow or Thursday.
All
Okay,
right, good.
So we'll
And
get,
and
All right.
again, I thanks everyone for meeting tonight.
I'll have Sue pick up my books and stuff like that, so you guys have it for whoever's gonna get them.
Okay,
you got books?
Yeah, with
yeah,
the
Yeah.
big
the
huge
metal.
books,
yeah,
that record everything, that are
Oh,
a pain
right,
in the
right, right.
neck, that are
yeah.
a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
so
I'll have
Ronnie
Sue pick
makes a
'em up.
motion to adjourn.
During the meeting,
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 What time is it? 6:54.
6:54.